You have to give me a little bit of time in order to learn all of your names, but it's very nice to meet you all, and I am happy that you signed for this course. Literature, it's never too late for wonder. And we will have a fantastic semester together. You will have to read 6 books from a list that I'm going to give you, and it will be up to you to analyze those books and at the end email me your final reading project. The focus of these 6 months will be all on this subtopic. It's a dangerous business going out your door. If you know from where this quote is, 5 points to you. No, just kidding, don't raise your hands. And the idea of this course, of course, started with the one and only Alice in Wonderland, and for me it's a give and read. I mean, I believe that all of you already read it. If you not, you know what to do with your next 2 weeks. So this is the starting point, of course, and this is a story of a young girl who ends up living an adventure in a whole new world for her. But that was the starting point, and it will be your starting point, because from there I decided to create a sort of a timeline starting from a very young age and till you're a grown-up, because I wanted to show you how it's true that literature kind of teaches us that when you're young, and the younger you are the better, you're able to live a lot of magical adventures and there is a lot of wonder out there for you. And when you're growing older, everything kind of settles and you just live this adult and probably a little bit boring life. But the main focus of this course will be to actually show you the contrary, and it's true that in literature we have less examples of fantastic adventures lived by adults. But this is where you enter into the game. I would like you to submit to me, to email me with your written project at the end of this semester, in which you try to fill the gap and to think about how you, at this point of your life, may live an amazing adventure, because you already are living it if you don't know it. University is an amazing experience and it's the turning point of your life, and you will rethink about these years with a lot of longing and a lot of love, I hope. So here is your starting point, your moment right now in your life, and from here you will have to try and create a paper in which you explain how your adventure starts. Will it start with somebody that you will meet this year, or will it start on your own willing? You will decide to do something new and extravagant just for yourself. Start from there. But in order to reach that point, I want you to read 6 different books from the list that I'm going to give you. So of course one of the books could be Alice in Wonderland. If you've not read it, shame on you. And then we will go just in order, looking at the age of the protagonist. And here we have the Chronicles of Narnia, and the protagonist, she is an 8-year girl. There are more protagonists than one, but she's the one that starts an adventure, and this is a perfect example of a book in which a child lives an amazing experience. So this is definitely a positive experience. This is an old style fantasy, and I believe that if you've not read it, you will definitely enjoy it. The next step is the worldwide famous Harry Potter. Harry Potter is, if you don't know somehow, is the story of an 11-year-old boy who actually discovers that there is so much more than he thought. In our world, we are not alone. There are all of those people about whom he never knew anything, and there is magic and there are magical creatures, and he's 11 years old when he discovers them, that there is so much more. So he's a preteen, and here, as you may see, we are going up and up. Next book that I would like to suggest to you is A Series of Unfortunate Events. And here we have a bunch of kids They are siblings, and the oldest one, she's 14 years old, and this is the perfect example of a negative adventure in a sense. So we have, at the beginning of the book, we have an event that changes completely the lives of the main characters, and they need to figure out how to live their lives from there. They will live a lot of adventures, and they will be sometimes dreadful, sometimes just interesting. So this is another idea from the preteen, let's say, part of this course. Going on, as you probably will see right now, we have less titles actually, because as I said before, unfortunately in literature there is less examples of adults having great adventures, life-changing adventures. But I want you to focus on the fact that you may change it, and in the future maybe you will write a wonderful novel about a young woman or a young man in his 20s or 30s living an amazing adventure. And if you will do, please put me in the credits or in the acknowledgements. I mean, I was your teacher. No, without kidding, let's get to the next book, and here we have Stardust by Neil Gaiman. Stardust is another great example of a young man living a simple, normal life, a little bit boring, he's not very fitting in it, and then he goes for this great adventure, and he starts from just an incredibly unrealistic kind of declaration, and he follows it to the letter, and he finds that there is so much more to his world than he knew. So this is another great example. Then we actually have a negative example. We have the interview with the vampire, as we had for the preteen section. This is one for the over teen, and the protagonist here is a 25 years old man whose life gets completely turned upside down because of an encounter that he makes, and all of his existence literally will be signed by that encounter, and he will live a completely different life. It will be adventurous, it will be amazing and frightening and passionate. And this is a great negative example, because some wonders are not only candies and rainbows, some wonders are dark and they are intense, and it's part of life too. Then we have yet again another fantasy, and this time it's Hyperversum. The book at the beginning is set in our times, and then it's one of those books in which the main characters are simply playing a video game, as a lot of you probably still do. And what happens in those cases? Usually something that make our protagonist stuck in the video game, and this is exactly the premise of this book. From here starts a new amazing adventure. The main characters, they are all in their twin years, let's say, so here we have a different point of view on how you may live an adventure when you've lived in a certain setting without any kind of change. And finally we get to the book that shows you that there is actually no age for an adventure, and this is the masterpiece of fantasy, The Hobbit. In The Hobbit we have something very particular happening at the beginning of the book. We have this character who is definitely an adult with his own life, his responsibilities, his house and so on, and he has this amazing opportunity of living a unique adventure, and as a lot of adults unfortunately do, he is hesitant and he thinks to refuse it because, come on, he's already lived his life, he's comfortable like that, why take chances? But then something will happen and he will discover that there is so much more to himself that he knew. And this is the last book, so you have quite a bit of choices from here. You need to read at least 6 books to analyze them, and then, as I said before, I would like you to send me your paper in which you try to think about your university years as the start of a great adventure, and I cannot wait to see how it will surprise me. I hope that you will enjoy the theme for this semester, and we will see each other next Friday. And for now, have a nice weekend. Bye! Hi there, BookTube! My name is Cristina, and I really loved this challenge. This was the 5th challenge for BookTubeathon, in which you had to imagine that you have an actual class in front of you and you're proposing them some reads with a certain theme. And for me, being a lover of fantasy, this felt like the right theme, because I really believe that when we are living in our 20s and 30s, sometimes we just forget that there is so much more to see, there is so much more to live, because somehow all those middle grade and YA books focus only on a certain age, and outside of that zone there is a lot of adult literature, but with less adventure and less idea of something wonderful that can completely change your life. There are some amazing adult fantasy, of course, but I definitely would like to see a little bit more of it. So this was my idea. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye! Ciao!